with breaking news.
For the first time in U.S. history, a former president will be facing criminal charges. ABC is reporting the grand jury in Manhattan investigating the hush money case has voted to indict former President Trump. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lindsay Pena. Trump's lawyer has confirmed the upcoming indictment related to payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election. That vote happened earlier today, and an announcement from the New York DA is expected soon. Once it's announced, the former president will be brought to Manhattan to face charges. There are still plenty of questions surrounding the indictment, including what charges the former president will face. Trump has denied an affair with Daniels and any wrongdoing. Now, this has been a long time coming to get to today's development of an indictment. It all started in August 2018, when Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, said he paid two women hush money during Trump's presidential campaign. He pled guilty to federal charges. 1 year later, in August 2019, the New York District Attorney's Office subpoenaed the Trump Organization. In September 2019 is when the Trump team started its fight to block the release of his tax returns. February 2021 is when the Supreme Court ruled the tax returns can be released. In July 2021, the Trump Organization is charged for an apparent 15-year tax scheme. In August of 2022, an executive with the organization pleads guilty and agrees to testify against the company. Months of testimony leads up to today's announcement of an indictment. And again, we still don't know the exact charges. Joining us now is USD law professor Craig Barcus. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
As we said, we still don't know exactly what charges he will be facing, but this case is absolutely unprecedented.
Yeah, it really is a momentous occasion. Right now, we're in uncharted waters, and so we're really not quite sure how it's going to proceed.
Just knowing what you know and what you have heard today, what could be the next steps? How soon could we see Trump in Manhattan and this process moving forward?
Again, a great question, and I think right now they're actually working out the logistics. I imagine there's conversations with Trump's lawyers about whether he'll surrender himself, how he will show up in New York City. But right now, I think all of that is going to be a matter of negotiation.
And as we were saying, this has never happened before, so there's no rule book, there's no precedent of how to do this.
You're exactly right. What we do know is we have an indictment and we have a normal process we follow, but these are not normal times. This is not a normal named defendant.
As we move forward in this case, I guess, what do you foresee happening when it comes to start picking a jury? We were talking earlier about how difficult that's going to be.
Yeah, the idea is that juries are supposed to be impartial, and we don't really live in an impartial society these days, and especially when you have a public figure that's so well known. It's hard to believe that you're going to find people who don't know about Donald Trump or don't know about these charges, and if they do know about it, that they can render an impartial opinion. So the jury selection in and of itself is going to be a challenge.
Yeah. We already know that Michael Cohen found guilty in this case, related to this case. How does that, I guess, influence what the prosecution has to do in this case moving forward? Most people would think, okay, logically, I mean, that seems to be voting in their favor, but does it?
Well, I think that is a factor in their favor. I think that one of the reasons this indictment has happened is because Michael Cohen actually served time in prison for the same set of facts. And so that does work to the prosecution's advantage. But then again, Michael Cohen pled guilty. Donald Trump is not going to plead guilty, and he will presume that he will fight this every step of the way.
How do you think this could impact the upcoming election? I mean, Trump has already said he plans to run. What does this do to that? Yeah,
well, we know Donald Trump is quite skillful at taking any public relations event, good or bad, and trying to turn it to his political advantage. And I think there's no question, I mean, right now that Trump will be calling this a political indictment, and that he would use this to try to move his campaign forward.
A lot of people are going to be watching this very closely, including yourself.
Yeah.
Craig, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate the insight.
Thank you.
Trump's former lawyer, who is said to have orchestrated the 2016 payment, Michael Cohen, released a statement saying, in part, "I do take solace in validating the adage that no one is above the law, not even a former president. Today's indictment is not the end of this chapter, but rather just the beginning." You can stay on top of any new developments with the Trump indictment by downloading the 10 News app. A free version is available in your app store.